The Epstein scandal didn't end, it faded out. One associate went to prison. Epstein himself is dead. But the powerful names linked to him, they walked away into silence. So the real question is, did justice actually run its course, or did it stop where power begins? Welcome to Power and Policy UK, your frontline source for sharp analysis on the people, decisions, and power structures shaping Britain. We cut through the noise, challenge the narrative, and follow the facts wherever they lead. No spin, no fear, just real accountability. Before we go any further, let's be absolutely clear. As of now, there is no verified report that Britain has arrested Prince Andrew in connection with the Jeffrey Epstein case. No official confirmation, no court record, no police statement. So if you've seen headlines claiming an arrest, you need to approach them with extreme caution. What we do have is renewed public scrutiny, ongoing questions, and a debate that refuses to go away. Now, with that grounded in reality, let's talk about what is actually happening and why this story continues to fuel frustration on both sides of the Atlantic. The connection between Prince Andrew and Jeffrey Epstein has been under a microscope since Epstein's arrest in 2019. Epstein was charged in the United States with sex trafficking of minors, a case that exposed a network of wealth, influence, and alleged abuse that stretched across continents. His death in a New York jail cell only intensified suspicions and outrage. Prince Andrew's association with Epstein wasn't a minor footnote. It was documented through photographs, flight logs, and personal meetings. The most damaging moment came in 2019 during a BBC interview meant to clear his name. Instead, it triggered a public relations disaster. Viewers questioned his explanations. Legal experts raised eyebrows. Public confidence plummeted. The fallout was swift. Andrew stepped back from royal duties. He later lost military affiliations and royal patronages. Buckingham Palace announced he would no longer use the title His Royal Highness in any official capacity. That move alone signaled how serious the reputational damage had become. But here's the key point. Reputational damage is not the same as criminal prosecution. In the United States, Andrew faced a civil lawsuit filed by Virginia Giuffre, who alleged she had been trafficked by Epstein and forced to have sex with the prince when she was underage. Andrew denied the allegations. In 2022, the case was settled out of court for an undisclosed sum, reportedly in the millions. The settlement included no admission of liability. That's where many people felt the story ended too quietly. Meanwhile, Epstein's longtime associate Ghislaine Maxwell was prosecuted in the U.S., convicted, and sentenced to 20 years in federal prison. Her conviction proved that at least one major figure in Epstein's circle would face serious criminal consequences. But for critics, it wasn't enough. So why does the narrative about a potential UK arrest keep resurfacing? Because the public perception is that powerful individuals often escape full accountability. And in this case, the central crimes were prosecuted in the United States. That leads directly to the uncomfortable question, why hasn't there been criminal action against other high-profile associates in America? The answer is more complicated than it appears. First, civil and criminal cases operate under very different legal standards. Civil lawsuits require proof based on a preponderance of evidence, meaning more likely than not. Criminal charges require proof beyond a reasonable doubt. That's a dramatically higher threshold. Prosecutors cannot file charges based on public outrage. They need admissible evidence strong enough to survive trial. Second, jurisdiction matters. Many of the alleged acts involving Prince Andrew were said to have occurred outside the UK. That creates complex legal hurdles. For British authorities to bring charges, they would need jurisdiction over the alleged conduct and sufficient evidence under UK law. Third, the Epstein investigation itself was messy from the beginning. Epstein previously secured a controversial plea deal in Florida in 2008, years before his 2019 arrest. That earlier deal was widely criticized as overly lenient. After his death in federal custody, conspiracy theories flourished. Public trust took another hit. The United States Department of Justice has maintained that investigations were conducted based on available evidence. But critics argue that many names mentioned in court documents or flight logs have not faced public legal scrutiny. And this is where the UK angle becomes powerful, even hypothetically. If Britain were to pursue criminal action against Prince Andrew, it would signal something significant, that even a royal family member is not shielded by status. That message would resonate globally. But as of now, there has been no such arrest. Instead, what we're seeing is continued pressure from victims' advocates, investigative journalists, and segments of the public who believe the Epstein case has unfinished business. Documents have been unsealed, names have been published, but publication is not prosecution. There's also the institutional dimension. The British monarchy operates within a constitutional framework. While no one is above the law, actions involving senior royals carry enormous constitutional and diplomatic weight. Prosecutors would need an exceptionally strong case before proceeding. On the American side, critics argue that Epstein's network likely involved more people than those prosecuted, yet proving complicity in a criminal enterprise requires evidence of knowledge and participation, not mere association. That legal nuance often gets lost in public discourse. It's important to separate three things: association, civil liability, and criminal guilt. Association can be damaging but not illegal. Civil liability can result in settlements without admissions of guilt. Criminal guilt requires proof beyond a reasonable doubt. Public anger, however, doesn't operate within those distinctions. For many, the Epstein case symbolizes a broader frustration that wealth and power create protective barriers. Whether that perception is fully accurate or not, it shapes how people interpret every development. If Britain were to take legal action in the future, it would reignite transatlantic cooperation questions. Would U.S. prosecutors share evidence? Would extradition become a topic? Would sealed documents reveal new allegations? These are complex legal scenarios, not simple political decisions. But again, at this moment, there is no confirmed arrest. What we're witnessing instead is a battle over public trust. Trust in institutions, trust in law enforcement, trust in the idea that justice is blind. The Epstein case damaged that trust. Maxwell's conviction restored some of it. But unanswered questions linger. And here's the reality. Major criminal investigations can take years. They rely on witnesses willing to testify, evidence that meets strict standards, and prosecutors confident they can win in court. Without those elements, cases collapse. So when dramatic headlines appear claiming sudden arrests or sweeping action, they demand verification. In high-profile cases involving international figures, misinformation spreads quickly. The truth is less cinematic but more important. Accountability depends on evidence, not outrage. Due process matters, even when emotions run high. The Epstein story is not just about one disgraced financier or one embattled royal. It's about whether legal systems can withstand pressure and still operate fairly. It's about whether influence distorts justice or whether institutions can prove their independence. For now, Prince Andrew remains a deeply controversial figure who has faced civil consequences and public disgrace, but not criminal charges in the UK. The United States secured one major conviction in Maxwell. Beyond that, the larger network remains the subject of public debate rather than courtroom verdicts. And until verified facts change, that's where the story stands. If anything shifts, if charges are filed, if arrests occur, if new evidence surfaces, that would mark a seismic moment. But reporting must follow facts, not speculation. Because in a case already clouded by secrecy, the last thing anyone needs is more misinformation. This is Power and Policy UK, where power is scrutinized and policy is made clear. If you believe influence should never go unquestioned, subscribe and join the conversation, because democracy works best when the public stays informed.